Hello everyone and welcome back to Modded Minecraft with Nightdagger. This is going to be episode 20 of my Let's Play series. In standard form, at the end of this episode, check the description of this video for an upload of the world. Remember, your configs have to match mine exactly, so if you haven't already, follow the instructions for the configuration in the first video in this playlist. And make sure you get the updates along the way. I've linked them in other descriptions. So I know I've upgraded Railcraft, I know I've upgraded GregTech, and I just added Ender Storage not too long ago. So make sure you have all of those mods or the world download will not work. A couple of things to note. I have done a little mining off camera. I've done some other preparation for this episode off camera because we are going to have some fun today. However, one thing that I do want to tell you, two things actually. Number one, I have turned off the tree farm for right now. If you need to reactivate it, the torches are right here. But I have an absolutely ridiculous amount of rubber and rubber wood and sticky resin, and I just have not had a chance to go processing it all, and I think I have more than enough to last me for quite a while, so I've got this farm disabled. The peat farm and the wheat farm are still running. Number two, I found another piece of iridium ore. It is down there at the bookmark. I have not mined it out yet. I'm probably not going to get to it this episode because I have something that I intend to do that's going to take a long time. However, if you look on the minimap, just to the east of me, next to that large hill, you'll see a section that's lit up. There's a whole bunch of torches there. It leads to a shaft that takes you down beside the spider dungeon, and then down further into the straight long shaft that I was digging when I found the iridium ore. Make sure you take either the silk touch pick or the rock cutter so that you can macerate that up. I'll probably just get it off camera. But I'm going to leave it there so you guys can see what it looks like in the wild. So it'll be there when you do the world download. In here, I have some bauxite centrifuging to get me some aluminum dust. Now, if you're paying very close attention, you've already seen a sneak preview of what this episode's going to be about, haven't you? Yes, I'm carrying a bunch of nuclear reactor components. That's right, we're about to make a second nuclear reactor. This one's a little different, though. This one is going to be a breeder reactor. We need a lot of uranium in order to make this thing run, and we've got a respectable amount. We've got 24 bars here. We've got 23 uranium ore here. We've got this uranium cell hanging out, but we want more. Now, when a uranium cell runs out of natural causes, you get a chance to get these near-depleted uranium cells. And when you get a near-depleted uranium cell, you have a chance of getting these depleted isotopes, or if you combine a piece of coal dust into it, you'll get these depleted isotope cells. Alright? Now, once a depleted isotope cell is put into a nuclear reactor next to an active uranium cell, so say this thing is a uranium cell, this thing will tick and produce energy as normal, and it will also produce heat. This one will tick as well, but it will not produce any energy, it'll just produce heat. However, it will recharge it slightly. Eventually, if you leave it in there, it is going to... what is it called? I can't remember. It is going to eventually produce one of these, a re-enriched uranium cell. If you combine one of these with another piece of coal dust, you will get a uranium cell. Now, that's great for reusing uranium cells that have been depleted, but if you take a piece of uranium and combine this with a single cell, well, you get a uranium cell, right? That shouldn't surprise you. What might surprise you is if you take a piece of uranium and surround it with 8 cells like that, using empty cells of course, you won't get a uranium cell. You'll get 8 near-depleted cells, which you can then turn into depleted isotope cells, which you can then put into a breeder reactor. Basically, it gives you a way to turn 1 uranium into 8 cells. Considering the amount of uranium we need, this is a good thing. So, we are going to build ourselves a breeder reactor. This is going to be a very fun, very dangerous toy for us. This thing is designed to run balls to the walls, no kidding. It runs at 64,000 degrees. Yes, I said 64,000. It won't blow up until it hits 73, which it should never do. So it should be totally safe. Notice the use of the word should. But I cannot take credit for this design. This design was actually pioneered by Rick on the Industrial Craft forums. He maintains a list of good reactor designs there, and he came up with this monster. I have altered it slightly, and I'll get to that alteration in a little bit here. Let's go ahead and start making the components that we're going to need to produce this monster. I've already got the reactor and the reactor chambers. You can look them up in ANI, or I've already covered how to build these, so this shouldn't be terribly difficult. I've also got 64 lava cells that I just got done collecting. What we are going to need is we are going to need one reactor heat exchanger. Our reactor heat exchanger is made with a heat exchanger and 2 dense copper plates, and a heat exchanger is a copper plate, an electronic circuit, and 3 tin. Easy enough. You'll notice in here I've got a crap load of dense copper plates. So let's come over here and start requesting some of the stuff we're going to need. We are going to need one electronic circuit. We're going to need, throughout the course of this, we're going to need some gold. We're probably going to need some more copper. Let's go ahead and break that down. We're definitely going to need some tin. Let's break that down. So, we're going to take one dense copper plate, 3 tin like that, the electronic circuit like that. That gives us the heat exchanger. Now, we have to upgrade that using dense copper plates to get the reactor heat exchanger. So, one on top and bottom. That gives us the reactor heat exchanger. So, one component is done. We need one overclocked heat vent, which is made with gold, and a reactor heat vent, which is made with copper plate, and a heat vent, which is made with refined iron and iron bars. So we need to go get our iron bars. We're actually going to need a lot more iron bars than that. Let's go ahead and grab our refined iron here. And let's make us some more iron bars, shall we? I could have sworn I grabbed a handful of iron. Let's go ahead and cook some more of this up into refined. Let's put one piece of refined iron back in here so that the logistics system knows where to send it. Alright. Let's cook up some more fence. 16 more fence. This is going to give us our heat vent. This is going to give us our reactor heat vent, and this is going to give us our overclocked heat vent. So there's another component done. We are going to need 4 component heat vents, which is made with tin and iron bars around a heat vent, which is made with iron bars, and yada yada, you get it. So we need to make 4 more. This is why we need the extra iron. Let's go ahead and pull some of that out of there. We need to make 4 total of these. Okay, so heat vent, these do not stack, unfortunately. We need to change those into component heat vents, which is tin and iron bars. So we need even more iron bars. And I'm pretty sure these are actually supposed to be in the corner for this recipe. Component heat vent, number 2. See how they don't stack. Number 3, number 4. So there's another component to check off. We need 2 heat exchangers, which are these things here. Heat exchanger, we've already seen. It's an electronic circuit, dense copper plate, and some tin. We need 2 of those. So let's go ahead and request 2 electronic circuits. And 2 plates, tin like that, and the circuits like that gives us our heat exchangers. We're also going to need 2 advanced heat exchangers. The advanced heat exchangers are quite a bit more expensive. They are some glass fiber, 2 electronic circuits, and 2 heat exchangers around a dense copper plate. So we need 4 more heat exchangers, which means we need 4 more electronic circuits, but we're also going to need 2 for each exchanger. So we're actually going to need 8 electronic circuits. Alright, and put that like that. Gives you this. And we are going to need 4 pieces of glass fiber cable. And I'm going to want to check and double check this reactor recipe before I actually do this, because I want to make 100% sure I've got this right. I do not want to blow up the world. And with this thing, it's possible. Alright, we're actually going to need a little more of that cable, aren't we? Alright, and cable like that, and heat exchanger, and copper plate. That's going to give us that. We are going to need 38, yeah, I said 38, heat capacity reactor platings. It's a reactor plating with 2 dense copper plates. A reactor plating is a dense copper plate and an advanced alloy. Wow, that means we need 38 advanced alloy. We better get to cooking, because I have none. So, I am going to throw another couple of stacks of iron in the furnaces. Get this cooking up. I'm going to request a couple of stacks of bronze. Oops. Let's go ahead and request 128 bronze ingots. Okay, we should end up with a whole bunch of bronze ingots after this. And we've already got a bunch of tin on us, although we're going to want some more. Just go ahead and take these other 12 blocks. And I'm actually going to pause the video here. I'm going to double check this reactor planner and make sure I've got the right type of heat exchanger. And then I'm going to go ahead and make the advanced alloy that we're going to need, and I will be back when all of this is done, so I will return shortly. Alright, I'm back. I don't mind telling you guys that I feel like kind of a derp, because I was checking my reactor planner, and I had the recipe right. I didn't have enough copper. You guys remember all of that copper that I had in my metals chest? I did not have enough. I actually had to go mining. So I went mining. I got enough copper to finish it. This is the leftover after I'm done. I also found some more gold. I picked up some more iron. I'm going to go mine the rest of the tin out at some point here. So let that be a lesson to everyone. You can never have too many resources. So just because you have 2 stacks of copper blocks, don't think, oh, well, I'm not going to need any copper anytime soon. You might, like I did. So let's go ahead and pull all of these components back out of this chest. Alright, we had most of the components done. What we needed at this point was 38 heat capacity reactor platings, which is just like this. Now, this is going to suck, because these things don't stack. I don't think. So let's come over here, and let's get this chest. Let's go ahead and just pop it down on the ground right there. And we'll use that as a temporary storage for all of our components. Now, I'm pretty sure once you get to the actual heat capacity reactor plating, I'm pretty sure those stack. So, oh, these stack too. Okay, that's cool. So, the reactor plating is upgraded using 2 dense copper plates each to give you the heat capacity reactor plating. And the last thing we need is 64 heating cells, which is an electronic circuit, a lava cell, and a dense copper plate. We need a stack of electronic circuits. Good thing we have a whole bunch of copper and a whole bunch of rubber, huh? And a whole bunch of refined iron too. So now my system doesn't like handling requests of that volume, so we're going to do this 16 at a time. Alright, we got 16? Yes. Come on. And 16 more. Let's go ahead and start making the heating cells. We have 17 so far. We have 32. I could and eventually might upgrade my system so that it handles large requests like this a little bit better, but not really that big a deal if you ask me. So, the problem is when it goes to make the copper cable. It doesn't have enough room to store all of the rubber, so it just kind of derps and throws a fit. And by throwing a fit, I mean it dumps copper cable or rubber all over the frickin' place. Yeah, it's not pretty. Alright. We have a crap load of heating cells. So, we have all of the components necessary to make this reactor work. Let's go ahead and put our metal away. Let's put our extra dense copper plates away. We will want them eventually. We'll put all of that away. We're going to keep the ladders. We're also going to keep the diamond drill on us. We can get rid of this fortune pick. That one's almost broken. But let's go ahead and grab the rest of our components. Now, this is a rather dangerous toy. This thing actually gets hot enough that if you are standing within the vicinity of it, it will hurt you. So, you don't want to have this thing on the ground level. What we are going to do is we are going to dig an access shaft. There. We're going to put this thing well underground. I hate it when it does this. We just need to give it a block update somehow. Actually, we can just kind of pull off to the side, and eventually we'll probably pull free of it. Maybe, maybe not. I'm gonna have to jump back into it. There we go. Alright. And that's our wall, so that's where we're going to have the ladders. And we'll have some lighting coming down here. Ooh, appetite. Oh, lag. Oh, hey, there's a cave down here, isn't there? Ow. Okay, that's fine. What we'll do is we'll reappropriate this cave that we found for our reactor room. We're low enough under the ground now that we can get away with that. So we're just going to dig out a relatively respectable room here. Doesn't even really need to be this big. That looks like it should be good. Let's go ahead and take this cobblestone that we've got and make ourselves some walls and a solid floor. Let's block this off so we don't get any nasties coming in here or shooting at us, as the case might be with that skeleton. Alright, and let's block off right here. That should give us plenty of room. And let's go ahead and level out this wall. Dug a little far back. This damn mouse is driving me nuts. I think I'm gonna have to get a new mouse. Alright. So, let's take the ceiling up one more. There we go. And let's build our dangerous little toy right over here. We're going to put the nuclear reactor right on here. And we're going to dig this block out, and we're going to surround it with reactor chambers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Alright? In here, we are going to put in a very specific pattern. It is going to be 4 heat capacity plates there. We are going to fill in this entire area with heat capacity plates, except for these 2 spaces here. Those we're going to leave alone. Here, we are going to have an advanced heat exchanger and another one there. We're going to have heat exchangers here and here. A component heat vent there, 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 and there. Our overclocked heat vent right in the center. Our reactor heat exchanger right there. And our heating cells right there. You can see this thing has immediately started taking damage. These heating cells do not wait for the reactor to heat up. They start working immediately. So this reactor is now gaining heat, even though it's off. It's alright. It's not going to kill us yet. Let's go ahead and light this room so that we don't get any nasty surprises in here. And let's climb back out. Alright, back up on the ground level. Let us go ahead and work on the next step of this. The next step of this is actually going to be involving this chest. It's also going to involve 8 iron ingots, 8 golden ingots, 2 diamonds, and a handful of glass. Probably already figured out that we are going to be upgrading this chest the whole way to a diamond chest. Why are we going to do that? Well, because we're not going to just leave well enough alone with this system. No, we are going to automate this process. We are going to do that using logistics pipes. More specifically, we need a supplier logistics pipe. We need a provider logistics pipe. We need a logistics chassis Mark 1. And we need an advanced extractor module. However, we need the advanced extractor module upgraded to Mark 3. Which is as simple as taking a redstone diamond chipset and a redstone golden chipset if I happen to have any. If not, a golden gear will do. Do I have any of those chipsets laying around? No, I don't. But I already have an advanced extractor Mark 2. I can use that. So, the advanced extractor Mark 2 with the diamond chipset on the top becomes an advanced extractor Mark 3. We're also going to need our wrench, and we are going to need to get rid of some of our inventory. Let's dump this off. We'll just let our sorting system handle that for us. We're going to need a handful of just regular cobblestone pipe. We're going to need our uranium cell. And we're going to need a bunch of near depleted cells. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a crap ton of near depleted uranium cells. Alright. Let's go ahead and put the unused uranium back away. Let us come over here, grab our near depleteds and our depleted isotopes and some coal dust. And we're going to want some basic logistics pipes as well. We're also going to need a lever. While we're at it, let's go ahead and get some tin also. And then, if I have... That'll work. And in here, we are going to make ourselves some ultra-low current cable. Reason being, this reactor is only going to put out 5 EU per tick. Ultra-low current cable can carry the voltage. You didn't think we were just going to waste all of this electricity, did you? Of course not. We're not going to waste it. Let's dig down. Let's take our LV transformer. And we're going to get stuck again. I hate this bug. There we go. Alright, we're going to take our LV transformer and we're going to put it so that it's facing with 3 dots down. Alright, and we are now going to also continue digging down. Wonderful glitches. And we're going to lay our ultra-low current cable as we go. And it occurs to me that I probably should have marked out where that reactor was, huh? Hindsight is 20/20. Ow. Let's go ahead and light this. Oops. Never want to dig down, folks. First rule of Minecraft. Alright, you know what? Let's... Instead of goofing around here, let's go ahead and pillar our way back up. Because I feel like I should have been there by now. So let's go over, and actually, how about we come up here? Let's see where our transformer is in relation to our other hole. Okay. So if we come down here, and we dig behind here, there we go. I was a little too far down. Oh, hello. Massive lag spike. So, we can run our ultra-low current cable safely to this side of the reactor. So, it'll just plug in. I don't like that. I want it plugging into the back here. Alright, that plugs into the back. We're going to put our chest in the corner. We are going to put a basic logistics pipe right here. On the top of that, we're going to put a cobblestone pipe. On the side of that, we're going to put a provider pipe. Alright. We're going to have cobblestone pipe leading out here. It is going to come over here. No. This is actually going to be an intersection. No, this is going to be the intersection. We are going to have our logistics chassis Mark 1 going into there. Now, we are not going to be able to tell it what to do with this right away. Actually, yeah, we are. Or actually, no, we're not. Because we have to have a recharged isotope cell before we can do this. So, let's go ahead and put our cobblestone pipe up here. On the top of here, we're going to put a supplier. That supplier, we are going to tell it to keep 4 depleted isotope cells at all times. Where? There they are. Near depleteds. We're going to tell it to keep 4 of these at all times. Now, I don't think the metadata is going to matter. I hope the metadata isn't going to matter. If it does, this is going to be crap real fast. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a handful of these things. Notice that these don't stack. In the middle here, right here, we're going to put our uranium cell. Now, if we put all of these depleted isotope cells in here, the supplier should read that this thing does not have the necessary cells, and it should load 4 of them. There we go. It's loaded 4 depleted isotope cells in there. And if we attach the lever, we can turn this monster on. You can see this thing is already running really hot. And this thing is actually ticking down relatively fast, isn't it? When this depleted isotope cell hits 0, it's going to turn into a recharged uranium cell. Well, we have to wait for that to happen, don't we? So, we're going to leave this run for a while. It should maintain itself. We shouldn't have to worry too much about it. Eventually, these things are going to recharge, and then we'll have to do the next step. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to climb back up here. I'm going to put my dirt floor back together, the dirt floor that you guys know and love so much. And I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to wait for that depleted isotope cell to finish charging. And when it finishes charging, I will be back to complete the next step of it, and then we should be just about ready to call this an episode. So I'll be back in a few minutes, guys. Alright, I'm back. Never thought you'd see a flaming reactor and think it's a good thing, huh? This is actually intended behavior. Don't let this scare you. We are almost done charging. You can see that these isotope cells are now down to 560, and they are losing 20 points off of their metadata every time they tick. Which means these things are going to be done very, very soon. You can also see that this reactor heat exchanger is severely low. Don't worry, it will not melt. 20, 0. These are now re-enriched uranium cells. It's going to try to send, but it's not going to have room to put it. So now it's going to refill them. We need to pillar up there so that we can reclaim the ones that jumped out. And you can see that our supplier system has now recharged these with depleted isotope cells. What we need to do now is we need to access this. We need to put the Advanced Extractor Mark III in there, and we need to tell it you are only allowed to pull re-enriched uranium cells. It is not allowed to pull anything else out of there. But, don't worry, that is intended. One thing to note, I did make myself a hazmat suit. You can look up the recipe if you need to, but this was actually required in order to survive in this room. Do not enter this room without wearing your hazmat suit. You will die. So, the re-enriched uranium cells, after the extractor module pulls them out, will come back to here because we are going to set this as the default routes. So, the way this works is we now take a whole bunch of near-depleted uranium cells, and we make depleted isotope cells out of them. And we stock those things in here. Alright. Then, what's going to happen is that every time this reactor gets done recharging a set of cells, this Advanced Extractor Mark III is going to instantly, because it's a Mark III, instantly pull all 4 of these depleted isotope cells out of this reactor and send them to the default route, which is this chest. At the same time, this provider and that supplier are going to talk to each other. The supplier is going to say, hey, I am totally out of depleted isotopes. I need more. The supplier is going to say, here, have 4 of them. And the cycle of life will continue until this uranium cell runs out of energy. You can see, once this thing heats up, yeah, it becomes annoying being in this room, but this thing will now pretty much maintain itself. As a matter of fact, we're going to go get it a little bit more uranium to play with, because this thing is actually capable of charging, you ready for this? 84 cells. What are you doing in here? It is capable of charging 84 depleted isotopes on one piece of uranium once this thing is up to heat, which it is now. Which is just simply ridiculous. So, let's get ourselves another stack of tin. We'll turn this into more tin cells. We are still looking good with our industrial centrifuges. So let's just go ahead and make another stack of near depleteds. And we'll put back the excess uranium. We'll put back the excess tin cells. We will head down to this chest. past our wonderfully flaming reactor. And we'll combine, let's go with, I actually meant to do 16, but my mouse is doing its stupid clicky thing. Alright. That is almost an entire inventory full of depleted isotopes. How are we doing in here? This thing is already halfway recharged. How about that? And it's now losing 22 every tick. That's because this reactor has heated up to the point that it's almost at maximum heat. I am not running nuclear control, so I don't have access to the thermometer. At least I don't think I do. Nope, no thermometer. So there's no real way to tell what the heat's at, but it's ridiculously high. Alright, so let's climb the ladder a little bit here. And let's take care of our unwelcome visitor while we wait for that to tick down a little more, because we want to double check this and make sure it's working as planned. There should not be any negative side effects if it doesn't work as planned, but it never hurts to double check. Hey, you. Alright. Turn our nanosaber off. Alright, and how are we doing for power? We are horribly low on some of our MFSUs. You can see we're ticking up power, though. Why are we ticking up power? Well, because our reactor down there is actually giving us 5 EU per tick. Amazing, huh? Yeah, I know. I was almost dumbfounded myself at the output of this reactor. Let's come back down here. We'll start ticking damage again. We're at 17 and dropping. I think I'm going to dig back here just a little bit and light this, because if we stand here we should be able to interface the reactor without taking damage. We're just far enough away. That way we don't have to listen to the horrifying sounds of death as we watch this thing work. Alright, so plans for the future while we wait for the last 1,000 to tick down off of this. We need more power. This is a good start, but we're going to upgrade the upstairs reactor probably next episode. We're going to work at getting some more lava in so that we can rely on some geothermals for a little bit extra burst power. And then I'm actually going to break form a little bit, and I'm going to use a form of energy that I don't normally use. I'm actually going to make a wind farm. So I need more iron before I do the wind farm, but that's what I needed the aluminum I was talking about earlier for. Saw how that got removed and replaced. These two just got removed. That one got removed. Oh, we got a problem here, don't we? We have an intersection that's not a logistics pipe. That's why we test. But you can see it is working pretty much as intended. It's replacing the isotopes as they recharge. It's not pulling the isotopes early. It's not trying to supply the thing. It's actually reading the metadata. And it's working. It's pulling isotopes out. It's replenishing them. It's replacing it with re-enriched. These things stack nicely. So we can just keep stacks of them and just recharge them using coal dust as necessary. One re-enriched cell plus one coal dust equals a uranium cell. So this gives us a much more reliable source of power. Next episode, we will work on an automatic shutoff system for this thing, maybe, possibly, I don't know. You can turn it off manually by just flipping the lever, or once the uranium runs out, it will run itself. It will turn itself off. Not that that's going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, next episode, we'll start putting some of this uranium to use. We may work on an automatic shutoff for that thing. And might even get started on the wind farm. But we're definitely upgrading this reactor next episode. So, this has been Nightdagger with Let's Play Modded Minecraft, episode 20. Check the description below for the world upload. It will be as of me shutting down this video and cleaning up my inventory. And I hope to see you guys very soon for episode 21. I'll catch you then.